chances will everyone get here in match number 11 to take their shot at the throne? Because at this point, Peterbot and Pollo have served up too many opportunities. They can't surely come up short, right?
You would think so, but at the same time, NDF, with a 1.5 times point multiplier, anything is possible. And speaking of crazy possibilities here, Brutal Beachhead, Gal Gamer, Haman, they're actually gonna fly right overhead. They've recognized they have been completely outdropped. Their intentions are elsewhere. Sato and Andalex, though, on the north side of the warship here at Brutal Beachhead. Could be a moment for Acorn and Cole to potentially manifest their own destiny here on the day, because they have certainly encountered a fair share of struggles. And the contest also continues at the Rebels Roost for Kovacs, Putty, Sky, and Scroll.
Looking for an opportunity, looking for an angle right now. Putty's gonna get a huge pickup from the drop right there, so that's the round out the loadout here. Shotgun, AR ready to go. Burst being a great option so early right now. Monarch pistol for Kovacs, so not exactly the best. However, this is a hot drop, so you can see there are plenty of drones flying around that'll drop good loot as well. But Scroll and Sky this time not content with what they've received. Back off. We've seen them do this before. Meanwhile, on the other side, a power-worthy and Alex kicking things off, continuing their domination over Restored Reels. They really have impressed us, I would say, with what they're capable of in the early game. If they can just patch up that mid game, I mean, they would make OCE very proud.
Well, they've managed to smooth out the difficulties that they had in day one as far as that 50-50 drop is concerned and Restored Reels. The problem now today has just been Kanata and Cooper, amongst other teams, just closing in on that location after they see the exchange take place. But Acorn is currently situated here at Brutal Beachhead without Cold, and considering the Andalex as an elimination of his own, you have to expect that that was the one he found on the Cold.
Yeah, it's sad to see, but it's about the worst we've seen Acorn and Cold do in person right now, and there's a lot of factors starting to add up. Normally, they play very, very well, you know, being contested. However, there were some rumors Cold wasn't feeling 100% today, so that could be taking its effect here now, especially as we drag on later into the evening, as they've kind of slipped down. But shift our focus into the stars of the evening, if you will. Pollo and Peterbot right now really starting to take form here. Last game makes you wonder what all went wrong in the mid game, given that they were just in shambles somehow. No extra material. And then on the other side, QUEASSY and Thomas had a opposite situation, but this time it's an elimination.
They pushed in rather quick to capitalize on Kramsu and Clone, who do land a little bit north of where Research Rock is at. And sure enough, QUEASSY just beaming Kramsu. Could have potentially just been a circumstance where Kramsu didn't even have time to react. He just got dropped in 2 shots pretty much. So well played to QUEASSY, Thomas HD for that one. Something we were just talking about in between these matches is the fact that QUEASSY and Thomas have been able to find the placement points, but what they need to add to it at this stage are the eliminations.
Definitely being elimination light is what's holding them back on the standings right now, but consistency is surely theirs, and that'll trump everything. Talk about consistent teams. Vico and Flixie have been online, but this time they have to be careful, have to be wary of Bryce and Bolts, who are coming off a Victory Royale, given that they are another top 10 team. So that's not gonna be easy by any means, but a battle for the forecast tower is, of course, worth fighting for. And we've seen Bryce and Bolts escape already with the cards, so.
Not only that, I mean, even factor in what happened yesterday. Bryce and Bolts taking out Flixie when he did secure that forecast key card, so anything goes just about. Just because you get the key card, until you actually confirm it onto that forecast tower, you can't consider it in your control. Teeny and Chap, though, across the map. Just putting on so much pressure here for Garrus and Shari. No real opportunity for them to bounce back here.
Garrus and Shari mixing up the strategies doesn't seem to be working going north at all right now. They were better off sitting in the storm trying to catch tags on the Clix and Vino. Jumping in with Chicho now in Trulex. Just outside the Doomstat. Big base here. Ramped out almost to see what they can find. Things are going to slow down here for a moment, but on the other side, things starting to heat up now for Chap and Teeny. Another elimination to finish the duo off.
They knew that Shari was a solo, though, after collecting Gira, so it makes sense that they would take the time to pinpoint his location. The surge damage, just such a massive necessity to collect early on, so that way they can have better control over their rotations as the match progresses. Because we are down to our final 2 lobbies here today, MDF. Walks Ping getting active now against the likes of Rise and Yuma, and they're gonna win out. 2 big eliminations to add to the tab as Poyo and Peterbot yet again also finding themselves fully in control of the forecast tower.
They've doubled back, they've secured it again, and this means that they will have all the information for all of the zones coming up. It's such an advantage. And it's not just them, right? There are other teams, of course, securing other forecast towers. However, they have just been the team that be able to do the most with that information.
But now you've got a team with the best medallion, the best striker burst assault rifle, the best kind of opportunities to set themselves into optimal positioning thanks to the forecast. Shutting that down might not even be the focus. More so, it's just got to be other teams emphasizing even more still into their own gameplay to ensure that they can keep up at this point.
Miko and Flixie trying to keep up. I love that they go around, tag other teams, and then double back to the railways, always looking for someone who makes the mistake of getting to their drop spot, looking for scraps. Seems to be what works. On the other side, though, CZB Nathan, EU team going up against Bryce and Bolts right now. Bryce and Bolts are actually just waiting right now, probably not too sure about what they want to do. I'm sure they want to get back to farming as they don't have much to work with here, and CZB and Nathan seem to catch a read here. They don't want to take this fight.
Yeah, CZB and Nathan, they're in a far better position as well, just having that little bit of elevation to work with. So Bryce, Bolts, they're likely going to head the opposite direction, but something I couldn't help but notice, last time we checked in with Trulex and Chicho, that surge base that they had established, the way that they were taking shots into Doomstad, wondering how much interference they've been playing today up against the likes of Muzz and Epic Whale, Reet and Ritual. Keep in mind, those two teams are trying to head, they're already softly contesting each other. They've been splitting Doomstad between the north and south sides, but when you've got Trulex and Chicho, such strong mechanical players, you know they have such crazy pinpoint accuracy, and they're holding you with the surge base from so far. It can be very difficult to actually work your way out of that location.
Especially if it forces you into another team that you're not expecting, which of course will be disastrous. Chicho and Trulex doing just that as well, talking about manipulating these rotates. They're trying to do that here. No tags right now into Rapid and Batman Booga. However, Trulex has got a completely different angle here on the outskirts. But the call's being made. Time to get a move on it here. They'll be one of the first to rotate now.
Plenty of rocks, though, to easily refarm some of the brick that they had invested for that first surge base. And just behind them, you can see Muzz, Epic Whale. They've had to maintain a low profile to prevent themselves from being victims of Trulex and Chicho's Eagle Eyes inside of that surge base. But the surge bases continue to pose issues for plenty of other teams around the lobby. Here we've got Poyo and Peterbot actually looking to see if they can capitalize onto Sky and Scroll. One above, one below. Sky Scroll caught in the center. But they're gonna try to just finagle their way out of this one, sure enough. Poyo, though, just quick to the chase.
Haven't quite got the tags, though, right? So something isn't going right for this battle here. Clearly, the goal is damage and or eliminations, but none being earned. Meanwhile, Ping and Wox right here are in a completely different fight, deep into the storm, just outside the underworld. Wox, who's at 3 eliminations here, clearly fired up for match 11 right now. Chasing down visuals and Braids. Finds the wall. Ping on the other side gets the edit. However, Braid slips out.
This is looking rather dire, though, for Braids. For Wox and Ping, they've already invested so much time. They need this surge damage at this point, which is why Wox, he's so intent, so determined to make sure that he cleans up the other half of this duo. Not to mention the 3 eliminations as well. Wox and Ping playing super aggressive. Some of these final lobbies. A knock, though, is going to be a big setback here for Wox and Ping. They have some white heals to work with, but keep in mind, we just saw Trulix and Chicho's positioning. All the other teams as well that are based a little bit more towards that northeast side of the map are going to have ample opportunity to just gatekeep these teams that are still inside the storm, rotating so late.
Think about what they're fighting for. These are all of our top 10 teams we're jumping in and giving you guys updates with. You are seeing just why they are sitting well within the top 10, taking fights, dropping teams, making big moments every single chance that they get, and now Dukes and Sphinx are looking to do just that as well here, as they're sitting heavily in 5th here. But Kramsu, Clone looking for the double pincer here. Both sides are cut off, but Dukes and Sphinx double back one another. Good defensive wall thrown down there. The tags are even better, but Dukes, as mechanical as he is, can't take too many of those tags there. Will he be set back? Kramsu really pushing the agenda here, as is Clone.
Keep in mind, Clone and Kramsu, they're trying to make up for lost time. QUEASSY getting that initial elimination posed such a big setback because they had to make a play for the reboot ban. So now you know that they need some surge damage to efficiently move throughout the rest of this mid game. And Dukes and Sphinx, they wouldn't mind the refresh materials at this point. They're using up a lot of their splashes just to try and get the job done. Not sure which duo actually decided to start the engagement, but at this point, somebody needs to find closure before the third party trickles in.
Yeah, Dukes and Sphinx gonna get another tag here onto Kramsu, but not much. Clone is also hurt, but so is Sphinx. Sphinx seems to be the one taking the most damage in this battle. All of these chug splashes coming out to make sure they keep him up. Given the circumstances, the Flowberry Fizz to reset the full HP now. They're gonna commit back into it. They're too deep into the water now to give this one up. They're gonna have to swim their way out. They need the mats, they need the material, they need everything that they can pick up off of Dukes and Sphinx here. And Sphinx and Dukes need to stay alive because they're inside the top 5, so much more riding on the line for them right now.
But again, the fact that they've even been held up for this long with Kramsu and Clone is such a huge detriment. There are multiple teams now beginning to filter in around them, and the way that the zone has started to pull over the likes of Reckless Railways, keep in mind that's also Vico and Flixie's backyard, and they've got that forecast knowledge from this match.
Dukes is trapped though, 2 tags come in, and he is forced back to the low ground. This is not going the way they expected at all here. Sphinx also punished now. The Hispanic duo sees blood in the water here as they've caught the white tags. They are hunting as aggressive as ever. Down goes Sphinx first. Dukes falls as well, and 5th place is out now. And this is gonna give everyone else the chance now to secure that 5th plus. For Zanji Thema, they'll move in here. It's not over for Clone and Kramsu. In fact, it's done for them now as Resigns is gonna find the first elim, and Gamel gets the 2nd. And just like that, they timed their entry perfectly for OCE.
And at this stage, again, Clone and Kramsu, sure, they got the points from the set of eliminations onto Dukes and Sphinx, but fact of the matter is, they weren't in a position to be able to deal with the third party after the fact that Kramsu left as a solo. And this time, he might not have the opportunity to actually make a reboot ban play like his partner just did for him earlier on. All the while, Chicho and Trulex, they have found their new height of Surge base territory. And they've got a massive overview of where the entirety of the lobby is. This brick box on top of the mountain face as well. Very easy to spot for other teams, which means the flow of traffic for players moving into this next zone likely going to be restricted by Chicho and Trulex.
Yeah, this is as big as bases get here, especially given that it's off the mountain, so they just have so much visibility on the edge of the map. Rift Island, once again, housed by Peterbot and Pollo. Probably the 8th time out of these 11 matches. They will show up consistently here. Playing into the storm right now. I wonder what's the game plan here. As they continue to rack up tags. Does seem like they will need a fight here soon.
Peterbot's got all the chug splashes for this duo. Go ahead and make sure to expend a handful of them, but Pollo, Peterbot, no. It's just gonna be Flowberry Fizz into the launch pad and go, but they can see all the teams that are rifting around them, teams that might even be looking to take that launch pad later on, but most importantly of all, they're heading straight for Surge base territory.
Look at who they're gonna land on. They're following Huddy and Kovacs right now. They find a fresh wall from Scrubble and Sky. That would even be a better option given that this is a weakened team. Little do they know, but Pollo gets the first tag onto him, and unfortunately that sets him back. Goes for a trade of tags onto Swizzy, and Peterbot showing us exactly what he is known for, and that is that deadly aim right there to keep them in the game. But just on the line of Surge right now, floating above it. They're not completely safe just yet.
Can't lose focus though. Swizzy and Yapko are not gonna go out without a fight. Sure, Peterbot might have that Mythic Striker burst, but Yapko returning fire, letting them know it's not gonna be easy. 58 below the damage threshold though for Kovacs and Huddy. They are just getting so held by everyone surrounding them, barely managing to find a shot in the nick of time. More importantly still, it seems other players falling in the lobby instead will be their bailout moment. They are fortunately gonna be able to take a quick moment to pause, heal up, and then determine where they head next. Harping out not necessarily an option. They're gonna have to fight because they need more material.
Nice little pickup here for Peterbot. Still has 2 splashes to work with right now. These eliminations being a massive, massive recovery opportunity for them. Let's take a look at it. It was Worthy who was flying in here. He didn't stand a chance. Unfortunately, fell short of the storm line there. QUEASSY, Thomas HD, hot on the heels of Flixie and Vico now. That would be an incredible team to drop, given that they are in 3rd place.
They could just play for Deadside at this point. They have so much damage above the rest of the lobby. They're gonna be a little bit late, but Thomas HD, do you ever miss with the Monarch pistol, man?
We have seen him do so much damage with that weapon. It wouldn't doubt me if the stats say that he is far and above the rest with a Monarch here on the weekend. Take a look at that in just a moment, but Kovacs, Huddy now, very much below the Surge here, forced into a box-to-box engagement here. This is as scrappy as it's gonna get, and they need an elimination here now. Clock is ticking, starting to run short on time. It's going to be a matter of moments before this storm really starts to ramp up onto them. Let's see it.
The damage threshold is only going to continue to climb even higher. Huddy, Kovacs forced to jump into Sky and Scroll's box, but it's not going to do them any good. They find the knock onto Scroll, but that's just going to be the setup for Wox and Ping. They take Scroll's body, instantly throw it back into their turf. Sky now left to fend for himself as a solo. Plenty of damage above the threshold, but in a sea of duos, what options does he really have?
And they're just sitting on that refresh right there. Now they're all the way back into the thing. This is kind of crazy for Wox and Ping. They've come like reasonably out of nowhere, literally now in 4 eliminations. They're just in this conversation for a top 5 run this game. Just 20 points behind now, Bryce and Bolts, given how many eliminations they're starting to pick up here. For Bolts and Bryce, though, they're finally finding theirs too, so that's a set starting to add up here.
Look at how isolated QUEASSY and Thomas HD were, though, on that far west side of the zone. A little bit of a dead side position, but they are going to have to deal with Paper and Victor B, I believe, who seem to be joined up with them. Not going to be an easy path to trek by any means, but right there with you, Bryce and Bolts have really started to heat up here. And this is where it matters most, because you only have this lobby and the next to work with, and then that's it. And there is a lot of prize money on the line when you look at these positions in the top 5 of the leaderboard.
Oh, the gap is a big, big jump. The first Bolts and Bryce have to make it there, if you will. They're in the top 5, but pushing through is going to be difficult now, given that they're running low on HP, even shorter on damage here. The fact that Bolts has to rely on bandages here, but a great, great shot there. Not enough to find the elimination, unfortunately. Loses his teammate in the process. However, he is above the threshold for now. It'll buy him a little bit of time. Bowberry Fizz to give him that extra mobility here so he moves fast. Also to get an inch further. It's Reason who's down at the bottom layer. What can Bolts do now? Can he maintain his position here?
Reason had also been desperate for some elimination damage, but Bolts will get the last laugh. Granted, I don't know how long it'll last, considering the fact that his current position is as grim as ever, especially seeing all these teams in front of him. Chiefs just skirting by. Benno and clicks his box. Bolts hoping to keep ramping up overhead, just trying to maintain an isolated position, but 25 above the damage threshold, and he will finally be taken out.
While all that is happening, there is more action unfolding here for the likes of Thomas HD and QUEASSY, who are now looking to set themselves up with some high ground positioning once again here. How many wins do we think they can take before the weekend's over at this point? Match 11 starting to heat up, though. Not looking good for Clix and Vino, who are also going to fall inside the top 20. Peterbot and Foyo continuing to rack up the eliminations here.
They couldn't have found those elims at a better time. Granted, it would be difficult for them to actually make their way towards the body loot, but Peterbot, Foyo, they might just choose to take what's right in front of them. Rise immediately falls to Peterbot's accuracy, but it comes at a cost. Peterbot's lost Foyo. The lobby has closed in. Peterbot from the low ground, forced to throw out the armored wall, but everybody's got their eyes on the prize. It seems as though they've all pinpointed the fact that this is a solo operation.
And look, he's still trying to possibly save his teammate. Remember, Foyo has a lot of heals as well in the extra material, but no, he has to give it up. He has to leave him behind. And we have seen Peterbot be here before. I mean, he just won a game where he clutched it up. So top 14 now. It's not over just yet. QUEASSY still alive. Thomas HD on the front side of the zone. Peterbot is just cooking, though. Taking down Teeny now. Every single time he drops a team and finds more eliminations, he is gapping himself away from second and third place.
And think about the mental game. It's starting to unfold for QUEASSY and Thomas. They're watching this elimination feed light up. Peterbot, regardless if he's got Foyo or not, he's willing to make some miracles happen. Low ground control, though, belongs to Thomas HD and QUEASSY. They're trying to make some eliminations happen. They need those points. They've got 5 already, but Peterbot just continuing his massacre at this stage.
Keep your attention down to the bottom right now as Thomas HD just found elimination in low ground, and they're starting to put the pressure while Peterbot's trying to rotate. Thomas is going to find another one down low, and he is still cooking here. Meanwhile, QUEASSY backs him up and takes down Reet on the low ground there, and they are just turning up. This is why they're first and second place, given into this 11 match right here. They are decimating the lobby.
It's a 1 versus 2 scenario, but Peterbot is just making it happen. Thomas HD and QUEASSY sitting at 8 eliminations already, though. But
Peter with another.
individual, isolated, no re in sight because he's been taken out earlier on, and Peterbot continuing to tarp his way through the low ground. There's a possibility, MDF, these two might actually just clash head on.
We have a 2v2 and then all solos in between. One of those solos is, of course, Peterbot. Rapid is gonna fall as well, and he just does not stop claiming eliminations at this point. Booga on the backside of zone. Don't come out, son. It's not gonna go well if you step into Peter's domain. Meanwhile, Thomas HD, QUEASSY are setting up the victory royale.
Thomas HD, QUEASSY, they know. It's Peterbot and Booga.
Oh
all
my
they have
God.
to deal with, but Peterbot gets a huge chunk out of QUEASSY. Thomas is gonna fall. One more shot could do it. Peterbot with the refresh, continuing to break through on the low ground. He's making the impossible happen.
QUEASSY versus Booga up top. Takes him down. QUEASSY versus Peterbot now. How badly do you want it? QUEASSY is looking for the tag. Both shots can easily go any way. Peter finds the first one. Can he get the second? He is incredible.
The second time today, Peterbot knew it was exclusively down to him, and left to his own devices, he delivers.
You just cannot make this up. He is too good.
Wow, wow, wow. Give it up